Hello and welcome to Set Talks, the podcast that helps you navigate and connect with the Denver film scene. Today's guest is Alicia Leeper from WIFMCO. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Alicia is the president of WIFMCO, which stands for Women in Film and Media Colorado. WIFMCO is a nonprofit organization dedicated to the advancement and achievement of women, transgender, and non-binary media makers working in all areas of screen-based media, which is awesome. This was when I first moved to Denver. This was a big organization that I had my eye on as far as like trying to meet other people in the media space and whatnot. So I'm really excited to have you on to talk about it. So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
No worries. To begin with, tell me about some of your filmmaking experience and kind of in the Denver film scene, because we talked and it sounds like you've been here for a while.
I've been here my whole life.
So
okay. I am a Colorado native, which I think is kind of rare these days to find someone who's born and raised here. Born in Colorado Springs, and went to school up in Greeley at UNC, Northern Colorado. I was a marketing and advertising major up there. Well, journalism and mass communications with an advertising PR or something like long like that. And then
Nice.
My minor was in theater, actually.
Okay.
And so I've been doing theater my entire life since I was probably 2 years old.
Oh, really?
My mom was putting me into theater, musical theater. My goal originally was to get out of here and go to New York and be on Broadway and do the whole musical theater life. Didn't really have a inkling for film or any kind of like on-screen acting until after I was about 24 and after I had already started a career and after I'd already, I don't know. It was really interesting how I got introduced to film, and it came about because, of course, when you're a theater minor or major, you think, oh, I'm going to go to New York and I'm going to make it big or whatever, and you think this is just what's going to happen. But of course, I had kind of a plan A. And I was moving very quickly towards Plan A, which was that marketing and advertising element of my degree.
All that stuff, though, is probably beneficial towards...
Oh, my gosh, yeah. So when I got out of college, I immediately started working in copywriting and advertising sales for the Denver Post and Rocky Mountain News, which was a joint operating agreement at the time. This was like 2003. And so I worked there mostly in the sales and I hated every minute of it. It was awful. And I got exposed to a lot of things, though, a lot of different kind of industries here by working at the Denver Post and Rocky Mountain News. I was able to meet almost every ad agency in town because they were, buying the media for those companies that I was selling ads to. And so I was working directly with these ad agencies. And at that time in Denver, the ad agency scene was huge. We had Hagen here, we had Thomas and Perkins, we had Extra Strength Marketing, we had, I think there was probably like 30 different agencies here that were huge. And so it was a big time for advertising and media professionals here in Denver. And I slowly got introduced to the world of film because I would get invited to my client's commercial shoot.
That's
and
awesome.
I would just kind of get exposed to what it was like to work on a production set. And even though I was kind of the client, I was learning and I was just there and being exposed to it. And when I left the Denver Post, I started working for a jewelry company here as their main marketing manager. And I got to start producing my own commercials for a luxury jewelry brand here that's based in Colorado. And this was at the time when Frontier Airlines had their in-flight TV channel, the blue, I forget what it was called. And we got to go and create TV commercials for these airlines specifically. Not to mention Sky Mall. Of course, we did all the media buys. We did the Condé Nast media buys. We did all these things. So I was immersed in the advertising media scene here, and I was mostly writing commercial, radio. And then one day somebody said, you would be really good in front of the camera. Have you ever thought about acting? And I was like, well, I mean, I did theater. I was a theater. I did theater, and I was a theater minor. And at the time, I was doing some community theater here just to keep my creativity going. And so they said, you should really think about film acting. I think you'd be really good. And at the time, I was booking models for commercials. So I was calling the talent agency saying, I need 10 models for this jewelry ad, or I need this. And so I was working the casting element. I'm working writing for TV. I'm working writing for radio. I'm, booking production companies. And that's been my career since 2005.
That's
I'm
awesome.
old.
Yeah.
So I've been doing this for
really
a
cool.
really long time for different types of industry. Of course, I started in jewelry. I went to property management. I've done other types of things like hardware, retail, different types of retail. And currently I'm doing it in the healthcare space here in Denver and producing commercials for Medicare, Medicaid, and some of our Affordable Care Act on the exchange and things for a insurance company here. And I love it. It's just been my career. And so I've sort of had this career in film making for TV commercial, advertising and media. And then I've had another career in screenwriting and acting. And I've been trying to build that ever since, but I've never left Colorado. I have only ever done this in Colorado. So when the two women who created the WIFMCO affiliate here wanted to create WIFMCO, it was Catherine Gould and a woman named Wendy Borman, who no longer is here, but she's on our advisory board. Okay. The two of them decided, because WIFMCO is just an affiliate of a larger organization called WIFUS, which is Women in Film and Television United States. And WIFUS has currently 13 different affiliates throughout the whole United States with almost 10,000 members.
That's wild. Yeah, I didn't know that until I talked to you recently, where you were telling me, it's actually part of this bigger organization and stuff. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so and a lot of people don't know that. I'm like, how do you not know that? Like, we're part of Women in Film and Television, not to be confused with Women in Film, which is just an organization out of Los Angeles, WIF, which is out of Los Angeles. And so there's WIFD, there's WIF, and then, and each one has their own acronym. So I think sometimes it does get a little bit confusing. But
sure.
WIFMCO was like, we don't have a WIFT affiliate here in Colorado. What do we do? And so Catherine and Wendy decided to just get a group of women together who were working in different areas in the industry: screenwriting, acting, voice acting, people who were doing production, people like me who do media advertising. And at the time, I was doing a lot for some nonprofit management. So they already knew I had nonprofit experience. And so they were like, Alicia, you just got to come in and help us. And of course, I was like, sure. Then I was like, do we get paid? And they're like, no. And I was like, I'll still do it. So I did. And so I'm part of the founding board of WIFMCO with those two ladies. And then we had, I think 13 other women that came on board to get it started. And so I started off as the first WIFMCO marketing chair. Okay. And actually, I was a co-chair because we had this wonderful woman who was like a co-chair with me, who no longer lives here, but so I miss her. And then I became like the solo marketing chair. And so we formed officially our affiliate in 2016. Okay.
And so what exactly is WIFMCO? Like, what's, do you guys have like a primary goal? Like, what is WIFMCO striving to do in the Denver films?
Yeah, so I mean, it kind of just trickles down from the WIFT initiative, which is to raise awareness for gender parity in the media and making sure that a lot of the marginalized groups, especially women, are given opportunities to get into those above the line positions through education. So we're not there lining up jobs for women. We're not a job resource for women or any gender. We're not a job resource for anyone in the industry. We are an education nonprofit. So everything we do is based in educating people through skill building workshops, screening series, panel lectures, opportunities to network and meet people in the industry so that they can take control of the directory of their career.
Sure.
Trajectory of their career. And so we want to make sure that we are working with our community partners, that we're meeting those ad agencies, those production companies, those writers and actors and producers and stuff, and saying, look at all these amazing people who are part of our membership who are so talented and so good at their job. And some of them are very experienced and some of them are not experienced. Some of them are youth coming out of high school, right?
Sure.
Who are part of our student-based membership. And we just want to expose them to the world in a positive way so that their experience is good and that they develop those professional skills because of their membership with WIFMCO to be able to go in and get those above the line positions and
For sure.
and just grow in their career. And so
That's awesome.
That's our mission, you know, and we also want to change the landscape a little bit and
Sure.
we want to change the conversation a little bit of what we're seeing in media and what we're seeing come out of film, because I mean, it has largely been a man's world, right?
Sure.
And the content being put out is very structured around that man's world.
Sure.
And there's not a lot out there that really passes our test for representing women and other marginalized groups in the way that we want to see the change.
Right. Which I think I saw something that you guys put out, and what is that test again called?
The Bechdel test.
Yes, that's it. Which what is that? Because I didn't know that until I had seen it in your email, and I sent my script in, and mine did pass.
Oh, good, yay! Oh, good for you. I'm so happy.
Yeah. I didn't even think about it, but it did. My script I had written passed it or whatever.
Yes.
And I had a main female character, and But anyways, for those that don't know. What is that? What are the criteria?
Yeah, there's a writer, a screenwriter, playwright. Her name's Alison Bechdel. I hope I got that right. Yeah. Who kind of set out to study how many times women have a line in a film or a play versus how many times a man has a line, and how much percentage are the women actually spending talking in a TV show that you're watching or on a movie you're watching, and how much percentage is a man talking. And it was like astronomically leaning towards men, where a woman can be in a scene with a man and the content can be like positive, right? But you count the number of lines, that how many times that woman actually got a chance to speak.
Sure. And also the context
of that. Yeah. And so usually the Bechdel test is very, very easy. It is 2 named female characters in a scene. They have to have a name. It can't be like Nurse 1 and Nurse 2 or Woman 1 and Alice.
Right.
It can't be like that. It's 2 named female characters that have, a good chunk of dialogue, and they have to be talking to each other about anything other than a man.
Right. It can't just be like lining up they're dating this guy or whatever. It needs to be, its own virtue outside of just the male character in the story.
And so you start watching things on TV and you're like, okay, there's 2 named female characters and they're in a scene together, but they're talking about getting ready for that date, or does he love me, or something about a man hurting them, emotionally, and it's always like around a man. So it's
yeah, I can't get it out of my head now.
Right.
When I'm watching movies where there's 2 girls talking about something. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Now it's like stuck in my mind, like, and it's usually pretty obvious, like when it's
Yeah, and I mean, it's not like every single scene has to be that way. It's just that maybe, we don't see the major, through line of the whole story being just about a man and these women. It's it's just amazing to me how there's so many things out there that doesn't pass. And so we really are trying to raise awareness to that, because I think screenwriters, especially our male screenwriters and our directors out there, the people who are putting this up on film, recognizing, I have this great lead actress and she barely speaks. Oh, but her role is so important. There's so much depth and And I'm like, but give her some lines, dang it, you know? Just come on. Like, let her have a voice.
Sure, sure.
And not limiting that even just to women. Like, these filmmakers here in Colorado and nationwide, everywhere, need to recognize when they are writing roles, how equal those roles are.
For sure.
And then also who they can put in those roles that would give someone who's typically marginalized more of an opportunity. So, I mean, we're starting to see it. We're starting to see some transgender people going into some major roles. Look at Euphoria. And I mean, applause to them for writing that role. Is it the best representation? I don't know, but it's there. Is
I feel
there?
like I'm seeing a lot of non-binary where it's kind of
great.
in
wonderful.
a lot of like shows that I've seen on where it's like just kind of. I feel like I've been talking with my wife a lot. They need to make a movie that's all like.
I think so.
Some sort of
I agree.
I don't know,
absolutely.
sci-fi thing in the future or whatever, but like we're just I don't know, it's like years in the future and just everyone's like that. I feel like that could exist.
Yeah, I think it would be amazing to just start really bringing awareness to different genders in typical roles. Do you know what I mean?
Totally.
Like, why can't they? They're doing all these remakes of something, right? They just did a remake of Beetlejuice, right? So why, you could ask yourself, like, why did Lydia Dietz's daughter have to be a woman? Why, could it have been a non-binary person or a transgender person or whatever? But at the same time, I'm so happy still about Beetlejuice because we have, there's also representation out there for women of color, and that needs to come through. And Jenna Ortega is a great example of someone who is Latino who really needs to be seen. And I'm just like so applauding that they put her in that role and that she's representing so well. And gosh, I also want to see women of a certain age get represented more in certain things. You see a lot of these women who, like Catherine O'Hara and other women who have had long-standing careers, get really great roles, but there are new women out there and new people who are starting out late who are very talented and may also want those kind of things. And I think what we see here in Colorado is a lot of I think some of the filmmakers here do think that they're creating those opportunities, but in hindsight, like, we start looking at the breakdowns of the casting and and who they're putting on their crew, and we're not seeing an entry for some of the people who need to be put in those spaces. And so, I'm personally a middle-aged woman, right? Very rarely do I see a breakdown for someone in my age range right now. And I see the lead female being like 22 and beautiful but doesn't know it kind of things. Or athletic. Everything here is athletic. And we need to open up the space for a lot of types of people and start representing all people in media, different sizes, different genders, different colors, different nationalities, different everything, and not feel that the lead actress or the lead actor has to be this kind of, I mean, hate to say the word, but like a stereotypical young couple. Like, why does it have to be that way? Why can't it be a 45-year-old and a 50-year-old falling in love for the first time?
And ultimately it's going to be more interesting if it's not what we've seen a million times before. And I also like when they just cast people but they're not like calling attention to it. It's not like oh, let's make a story about like not that like things about like racism and stuff shouldn't exist, and I see the value in calling attention to it, but like why not just cast them? But like it's not necessarily even a story about that. It's like just that's just.
And I totally agree. And
like,
I think we're starting to see that happen. Like all the brilliant, amazing things that Shondaland is doing right now with Bridgerton. They're bringing in
exactly. Yeah, where it's just like not, it's whatever. Like
it's whatever, and you're like you're just bringing in some great people for these roles, and and you're seeing older women and younger women, and you're seeing men of different various backgrounds and stuff take the lead roles, and you're not seeing I guess, what people expect.
Yeah.
And I just love that they're breaking down some of those barriers in those shows, and just saying like, this Queen Charlotte can be this extremely strong, beautiful Black woman.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not about that.
Yeah, they just don't even.
It's about her being queen.
It's not something that they like even call attention to. It's just, well, we just, she was a great actress.
She's just a person.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I love, and I hope to see more of that. And plus,
totally.
It's riveting, wonderful television. I love it.
My wife
I'm
is obsessed
so
with it.
addicted to it.
She keeps wanting me to watch it with her. I haven't.
I
haven't yet. I guess I should.
So good.
But no, I agree with you. Yeah. But for those that don't know, for WIFMCO, I mean, you guys do a lot of events and stuff.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that? What are some of the typical events that you guys do? And again, what's kind of the goal there as far as like there's one going on tonight. This won't air for a week or two here, but like the one going on tonight is about like
animation and it's kind of about how to get across the finish line when you're needing to kind of get those final edits in, and you're really thinking about finalizing in post, and it's going to be hosted by Shauna Schultz at Mass Effects, and they typically specialize in animation, but there's other people that are coming to the panel to talk about like how do you get your film to the next part.
Right.
When it's done through editing, through post, everything. And so I mean, to get back to your kind of like the question here on like how we run events. And
the type of events.
Yeah, and the type of events.
You do all kinds of stuff. Like I've seen ones that are just about sound or just about script writing. What are some of the typical?
So we try to pick. We try to do at least 2 events a month.
Okay.
Minimum. And one is usually like some kind of networking event, and the other one is going to be some kind of skill building or like a learning type of event, and that's because we're a 501c3 and we want to make sure that we're educating our community and our members. And we are so if people become a member of WIFMCO, they can come to all of these events for free on their membership. If people are not members, they can still come and just pay a fee to get in. Typically, it's more lucrative to just join us, and of course, anyone of any gender can join us. You do not have to be a woman in film to be part of WIFMCO.
I know, that was a question, of course, I had going into it. Like, do I have,
like,
is it okay?
I remember you being like, do I have to be a woman to join? And I was like, no, just join. And it's like way cheaper. You're like, okay. And I was like, you can come to I think I said to you, I go, but you have to support our mission. So, the thing is in order to be one of our members, you have to agree to be an ally for us. And you definitely are. I mean, you're writing scripts that are passing Bechdel, and you're coming to our events and supporting those women and meeting people. And you even found me. Can you be on my podcast? Oh, hell yes. Yeah, of course. Thank you. Yes, I love to be here. And you're creating a voice and a space for us. And that's exactly the kind of member that we want, is somebody like you.
Awesome.
And so hopefully we can lift each other up, right? So
totally.
And that's the whole goal, is like, I meet you, you meet me, you have this asset with your work, and here I do too, and then we get each other jobs, and we meet each other in different spaces and introduce each other to other people who can really amplify our careers. And that's really truly the mission of WIFMCO. But at these events we do these skill building workshops, and we try and mix it up. So it'll be like 1 month we might have screenwriting. Another month we'll have sound and audio mixing. The next month we'll have some sort of director's panel and lecture series or something. We have everything from voice over and acting to, I think we did something on editing not too long ago. We have virtual story workshops that happen. So we have in-person events and virtual events. We have things going on in Denver all the time, constantly in Denver. And then now we've just expanded to NOCO and SOCO. And so we're doing events in Northern Colorado, and we're doing events in Southern Colorado, and we're trying to build up our membership in those regions now. They're slowly but surely kind of growing, because we just expanded this year into those regions. So right now we have about 185 total members here in Colorado, and our goal hopefully by, maybe the end of 2025 would be to get up there closer to 500 so that we can start getting more funding and that we could start creating bigger and better and brighter opportunities for people. The more membership we have, the more money we can put, because all of the membership dues that come in go toward our operational costs for these events and for our website and for marketing and trying to advertise and get things going. And so our costs right now they just mirror our membership. And so like the more members we can get, the more like we could get higher level speakers in here. We could start paying people, but everyone right now volunteers their time for WIFMCO, which is so phenomenal. And I'm so grateful because we usually approach people and say, hey, can you maybe teach a class or, and they're like, oh, heck yeah, I'd love to, because they understand the importance of educating our community and getting them better so that they can represent Colorado in a very professional way. And so,
and thank you guys so much for doing that, because it's totally worth the membership. I mean, the amount of events that you guys do, and they're all really great learning experiences, and even just meeting the other people there has so much value. So I mean, like, just if you're not a member, I would definitely get a membership. It's worth. I think going to one of these events almost costs as much as it does to be at least the basic.
Our membership actually we did just increase our membership for the first time ever to like $85 for professional for a year.
Okay.
And then a student membership like $50. So not too bad. I mean, if you go to 2.5 events, it pays for the membership, because each event usually for a non-member is about $40.
Okay.
So like not too bad, that's for the skill building workshops. And a lot of our networking events are often free for like anyone.
Okay.
Our coffee talk, anyone can come to. Our virtual events usually do have a fee, and then like because you get a recording after and you get to have that access to that recording, and so you get valuable information. And so if you're not a member and you want access to that recording, it's kind of like, well, you get access to this. And so I mean, I do think like $85 for a whole year it's cheap. I mean,
totally.
But we are working on like some scholarship opportunities for people who might need that assistance and whatnot. We are looking for sponsorships to help us with that, and we always are looking for corporate sponsors to help us have those scholarships for members who may need financial assistance.
Okay.
We are also looking for corporate sponsors to help us with our industry fair that we do every year in partnership with Community College of Aurora, which is happening in 2025 on February 15th, 16th. And that's 2 full days of classes and workshops that are like being taught by local professionals. And it's just an incredible time that, we do blocks where you just go from one class every 90 minutes, every block you move to a different class. And there's everything from stunt workshops to a Screen Actors Guild panel to editing to production to screenwriting to voiceover to how to be a social media influencer and make money, how to increase your SEO, best ways to get into film festivals, distribution and fundraising. So we have classes on that. And so oftentimes our industry fair will be a big culmination of all the workshops we've done all year long.
Oh, sure.
And we bring them all together at this huge event, and people pay a ticket fee to get in, and then they just stay there all day and just learn. It's incredible.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we're very excited about that. And people volunteer their time for it. Like instructors come in and they say, yeah, I want to talk about, we've got a really incredible thing coming in October, I believe, in NOCO on accessibility on set, and talking about that for our hard of hearing communities and people who, need accessibility when working on sets, and even in these, so we have our Northern Colorado chair who's really advocating for that and making us better, by being aware of accessibility. And and I mean, I'm just so thrilled with everything that we're doing, and it's because of our chairs, that our programming chairs. So we have Elizabeth Mahelit, who who's been doing all of our programming here in Denver for like the past 2 years, and honestly, like almost 100% credit to her on how WIFMCO has gone from kind of a 1 or 2 events to like warp speed, like 5 events a month. And I'm like, you got to slow down. I can't keep up with you. And what are we going to do if you ever leave? And then I'm like, you're never leaving. I love you too much. You're so incredible. And she's not here today. She was going to be here, but she's working on a feature film that's filming here in Colorado right now. And like a bunch of WIFMCO people are working on this film, which I'm like, yay!
That's awesome.
That's so exciting. And I hope they take pictures. But
really cool.
Yeah, right. So it's so cool that I'm seeing more WIFMCO members getting work on these major productions.
Awesome,
which is incredible.
Totally.
We're and they're still coming through with these programming things. We've got Maya Duram, I hope I'm saying that right, who is our Northern Colorado chair, and she's working on some incredible things for the Fort Collins area, all the way up to Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Oh boy, yeah, wow.
We have Michaela Burns, who is our Southern Colorado chair, who's working on a lot of screenwriting and screen crafting for our SoCo members, and then like getting networking things going for them. We've got our membership chair here who's really helping to build our membership, Maureen Maloney. And we have other board members. I want to mention them all, but they're all just like so amazing. And, some of the WIFMCO board members are also just heavily involved in other organizations here. Like our current vice president is also like an event coordinator for CFVA. Mm-hmm. And we have this kind of shared mutual, like, hey, this person's on our board, they're also on your board, how can we work together? So we're really kind of aiming to collaborate.
For sure.
And then like Julie Jackson, who is Julie Spear Productions, part of Truce Media Cooperative, is our treasurer. And so we have a really good partnership building with Truce, and they have some incredible things coming up that I can't even go into. It's secret right now because we're going to launch it.
I know. I'd love to get them on the podcast for sure. Because Truce Media, it's an interesting idea.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
I thought that sounded really well, so how can someone become a member?
Yeah, they just go to wifmco.org and click on the Get Involved and become a member, or join up at any one of our events. Like you said, tonight we have an event. Mm-hmm. Today's September. Can I say the date? Today's September 10th.
Sure.
It's not going to run today, but if people are listening next week or whatever, we've got more events coming.
Totally. And you guys have an event calendar, right?
We have an event calendar on our website that is now, we're starting, since we're collaborating with so many other organizations like FIND, Film Industry Networking Denver, and CFVA, and Cinefe, and Cinema Denver, and like the Lyric up in Fort Collins, and we have our NOCO people, our Longmont Public Media we've been partnering with lately, and I mean the list goes on and on and on about
that's
the people.
Awesome.
We've had some incredible sponsors, local. Oh my gosh, I should say this right. Local. I always want to say local media. Who has sponsored us? Sue Capitelli, who is a new sponsor for us for our finishing funds that we're launching. Yeah. So if people are listening to this, next week, which is after September 15th, go to our website, because we're launching our finishing funds grant next
cool.
week.
Okay.
And that is sponsored by Sue Kelly, and she is an advocate for us and for women in film, Women Plus Film, and part of the Women Plus Film organization with Denver Film Society and Denver Film Festival, who are also partners with us, because the C partners with us now. And
right.
So she donated some funds to us for our members to go into the application and apply for their work in progress. So they would kind of upload like maybe a work in progress. That can be a screenplay. That can be something you have dailies for. That can be something you just have, a teaser for, or something very rough, right? That you're needing finishing funds for. So moving into post and needing those funds. We're launching that finishing funds grant, and we're going to pick a winner.
Okay. Is the submission period?
It's going to be pretty short. So it's going to be like September. I think it's going to open on September 15th and close by December 1st.
Okay.
And then we're going to announce a winner before the end of the year. And there's a lump sum of money in there.
Okay.
And we're hoping to get it to grow. But right now it's $1,000.
Okay.
And so we're hoping to get it to grow. But, whoever the winner is at the end of that, they get that pot of money, which is kind of exciting. We're also launching our short screenwriting contest launches on November 15th and closes at the end of January.
Okay.
And I think, is that the event that you came to? The screenwriting?
Oh, I did submit a script.
No, but you came to it? Didn't you come to it and just watch the table reads and stuff? Oh, no, that was a different thing.
I did.
Okay,
or maybe
sorry,
I was going to. And
you were going to, yeah.
I think I meant to be there, and then I kind of got pulled out of town.
You'll have to come this year. So
yeah.
We love our partners at the Bug Theater.
Oh, totally.
Oh my gosh, who doesn't love the Bug? Oh my gosh.
Oh, I had them on here for
did you?
and stuff, and to talk
out.
about the Bug. Yeah.
Eileen and Alex. Yay.
Oh yeah, totally.
They give us space, often, and really support us, and we love our people over at Emerging Filmmakers Project. I just love everybody. It's like I'm just going to name everyone and make sure that we're always constantly plugging each other.
Sure.
But the Bug donated some space to us to bring in our top 3 finalists for our short screenplay contest, and they're going to do that again in February.
Okay.
And we have a short screenplay contest. They have to pass the Bechdel test, right?
Yep.
We pick the top 3 finalists, and then they get a professional table read in front of a live audience.
That's awesome.
And that audience votes for the winner.
Oh,
and the winner gets $1,000.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
And they can go and submit their screenplay to festivals or whatever they want to do, and they can use that money for whatever.
Cool.
So it's pretty cool, and that's going to be open pretty soon. It'll be open November 15th, and then close in January. So
all kinds of benefits to becoming a member.
Not to mention the national benefit.
What is
so national? So when you become a member of WIFMCO, you also get 30% off of IMDb Pro.
Okay, that's cool.
Which is really cool. There is a national crew list on the WIFUS website, so wifus.org. All of our members can go on there and sign up on that crew list. And then when people are crewing up for their projects, if they go to that crew list and they want to uplift women and other people who are in our membership into those positions, they can staff from that crew list. Exciting. Other things, there's often film festival discounts, but there's also access to every affiliate events.
Okay.
So let's say you find yourself in Austin, Texas, and you're like, I wonder what the WIF chapter in Austin is doing this week while I'm here. You can go to that
That's
event.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, you can go and meet those members down there. Or we've got some chapters in New York. We've got South Carolina coming on board. We've got a bunch in Florida. We have San Luis Obispo. We have Palm Springs. We have, there's 13 different ones. We're getting ready to get a chapter in Maui. So I'm really hoping we do a president's retreat or something there, and I can go to Hawaii and just people there.
Oh, that sounds great.
It'd be so great. But we can connect people with our branches in other states. So if you find yourself producing something somewhere else, you just want a connection, or we can be like, oh yeah, go meet this person out here. And so those are some of the national benefits. Plus they often have virtual events that sometimes there's a fee. So sometimes our New England affiliate will have a virtual event, and WIFMCO pays $5 to go online, instead of 30, or something.
Right. That's awesome. Well, aside from being a member, what would be some other ways for people to get involved? I mean, you kind of mentioned, I think you touched on it, but sounds like you can donate, you can become a sponsor. What would be other ways outside of the membership people are trying to get more involved with?
All of our chairs. So we have our membership chair, our marketing chairs, programming. We are in desperate need of a development chair. And that would be someone to help us with fundraising. So if people want to get involved, we need people to help us with fundraising and helping us get sponsors. We would love to have people volunteered to help with events. And honestly, if people volunteer their time, they get to come to the event. If they're like, hey, I just want to volunteer to maybe check people in or help, set up or clean up or whatnot. And then they get to come to the event for free. They don't have to be a member.
Okay. What would be what would be the best way for people to reach out on that?
the best, I think, just our general email, the info at WIFMCO, WIFMCO.org is the
Okay.
best way. Or I feel like it's old school to say like we're on Facebook, right?
I guess it is. That kills me though still.
I
Because
know.
I'm all about Facebook,
I
but I
love
guess,
Facebook.
Instagram and I don't know, maybe TikTok. Is that where it's at now?
We know
But
we have a TikTok account, but I don't even remember how to log in anymore. But we're on Facebook.
Okay, so a
We
lot of
have
the
a
events.
messenger.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Oh,
people can
okay.
reach out to us there. There's
Gotcha.
also like a contact us form on our website, and
Right,
people
right.
can reach out there, and we get that in our email, and but I would say like primarily like majority of all of our stuff is on Instagram and Facebook, and then we have a newsletter that goes out to members, and we have our event calendar on our website. So yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, there's ways people can reach us, and they
Okay.
can say, how do I get involved? And then, they can help us maybe build some events and programming. Like if somebody has an idea out there, like, oh, hey, I see you guys doing all this stuff, but you haven't done XYZ.
Mm-hmm.
Can I help you do this? Like, it would be so cool if they were like, I see you not doing this.
Okay.
How can I help, do this type of event for you? And then I'll be like, you go, like, you come to me, like, if you got this idea and you want to like help implement that, like, yes, do it, please.
Oh,
And
cool.
we will support and be part of that,
Totally. That's awesome.
Yeah, I feel like we're open to anyone approaching us and saying like, hey, I want to help out.
Yeah, cool. All right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. So do you have any advice for filmmakers, actors in the Denver area that are, trying to break into the industry? Certainly becoming a member at WIFMCO is going to get you access to all kinds of resources and even just network, just as a starting point. But, you've been in this space, in this scene for a while. So I don't know. Yeah. What would be your advice for somebody maybe just out of college or something like that, trying to get involved with video or...
I mean, if it's somebody young,
well, anybody, I guess.
Yeah,
That's true. Yeah.
I feel like when you're just coming out of college and you're in that like, young place and maybe you're still living with your parents or you've got, time to be able to go and work on different sets, and I would just say yes to every opportunity, whether it's paid or not. Yep. And go and experiencing, I mean, people say it all the time, like, well, you have to start as a PA. I remember when I started, I was like, I am too old to go work for free. Like, I'm too old to go work. I can't do it. So I was never really able to go leave my job and go work as a PA somewhere. And so like, I almost like shudder to give that advice out because it's not feasible for a lot of people in this market just be like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go on this set and just like shadow and work for free, or just shadow and not work and just like learn and observe. Like they can't, So so for young filmmakers who are coming out of college, I would say go do that. You are of that age where you can go and do that, and hopefully you have support.
And it should hopefully lead to something as far as like, being there. And then if you can become someone that they're relying on, then all of a sudden you have a job. Right.
Yeah. And I would say the same for people coming out who are just pursuing like the actual acting side of it, like go do the student films, go to the open auditions at Community College of Aurora and the different various film schools and get into those showcases and whatnot. Be in an acting class. Like I can't even reiterate that more. If there's actors out there who are like, I just need to find representation, the first thing I say to them is, are you in a good reputable acting class then? Because if you're not, you're all these agencies that review your resume are going to be like, are you studying anywhere? What are you doing? So you really do need to be studying and like actively learning the craft, right? No matter what that is. And so if you're an actor or voice actor or anything, be studying all the time and constantly learning. If you're getting into the production side, writing side, still be learning, right? And getting in there and doing skill building. Even if you think you know it all, skill build. I think even Robert De Niro still takes acting class. Do you know that?
I did not know
that.
Yes,
he still from time to time will go in and learn from beginners, and because there's so much that you can learn from people even as an professional. And I think that's the mentality that everybody in this community should take, is that no matter how skilled you are, there's always something to learn. We all have so much to learn.
Yeah.
And that's the advice I would give some of the older filmmakers here who have been doing it for forever. take the opportunities to learn. Well, now, I do want to give advice to people who are like me, right? Who started late. I already had a career. I already had a mortgage. I already had to pay my bills and figure it out on my own. I can't quit my job to go and work for free anywhere at any time. And so for those of us who are like that, it's harder for us to get further, faster. I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with our members who are like, well, but I'm thinking about quitting my job and just going for it. I'm all, well, make sure that you have some kind of support or something if you're going to do that.
I have talked to people though that have done that.
They have done it, and I'm like,
succeeded, and it's like, wow, yeah,
that's amazing.
Where it's like they just really I think they said, the first year was tough, and they just were, pounding.
But I do wonder those people, like, did they have families and did they have a house they had to pay for?
Yeah,
and like,
I'm with you on that. I have a mortgage too.
Did they need insurance? Like, I don't know. I'm like, I kind of need health insurance, guys. Like, I really want that in my life. And, and there's people who have children and they have, and they're getting started in this and they have responsibilities that we can't really, shy away from. And
sure.
And I would say the majority of WIFMCO's majority of us are over the age of 35. Majority of our membership never had the opportunity to go to film school. Majority have other jobs that they are kind of obligated to, and they're trying to figure out how to navigate this world and this landscape in Denver and outside of Denver. Like, how can I get to these other productions and stuff? And then there's so many actors here who are so talented, who are just looking for opportunities to get into the unions and are trying to get it, as much work as possible while still balancing a career here. And the nature of the business here is you're not going to find a lot of actors or artists here and production people who also don't have another job, right? And they have to figure out how to find the time for things and take paid time off in order to go work on a set and stuff. And so I think the advice that I give those people is try to be selective about the work, about who you work with. Because for those of us who are not able to just go and work on anything, and we have to recognize that we're on set with people who are willing to support us in the journey and willing to be there to help us grow, and have in their mind like our situation and really understand the lifestyle of the community here and how people have to have some opportunities is a little bit different than the other market. I think this is personal. Other people out there would probably be like, nope, just go just do it. But like,
I agree. We talked about this before we got on here. Like, it's like, this is kind of a weird landscape. That's why I started this podcast, to be honest. Like, this is like my own personal investigation of it. Like, seriously, like, it's kind of weird or scattered or not obvious, like what you should go after. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like it's a little siloed. Although what you guys are doing at WIFMCO is amazing, by the way, especially from a community. But I agree.
Yeah, I hope we're breaking down some silos. I want the community to kind of walk away after listening to this and go, okay, how can I, as a media maker, really help someone who is so passionate about being in this industry and maybe does have those life options? How can my film benefit everyone, and still get the work done? Yeah. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, it's going to be a conundrum, right? It's like, if you are a director producer and you own a production company, right? And you're like screwing up, and it's between the guy who can just go work for you 5 days, 7 days a week, 10-hour days, or the woman who maybe can only spend like maybe 5 hours a day because she has to go home and cook dinner for her children or take them to school and pick them up or do doctor's appointments or go to her job. and I'm not saying it's just women. There's all kinds of people who are in that situation.
Sure.
You're probably going to take the person who's more available, right?
Mm.
But there are still some incredibly talented people here who are going to do really quality work. You just give them that opportunity, just one. And then maybe if they get paid for being there that time, it'll help them the next time you have something work that 10-hour day,
Sure.
and then in more days a week because they're making some money, and then they start to build momentum. And then you start seeing careers flourish and people being able to work-life balance. This is a really interesting story. Sorry, can I just sidetrack
No,
into
you're
this
fine.
other thing?
Yeah.
We had an incredible keynote speaker, Rain Harris, who came to our industry fair in 2024. So this year in 2024, but our last industry fair. And Rain is the recipient of the Series Fest Shondaland Directors Mentorship.
Okay.
So she got to go and shadow Shonda Rhimes on the set of Bridgerton.
That's awesome.
And learned so much. And she came out of American Film. Oh my gosh, I forgot where she came out. She was out there making film, right? A student, whatnot, and had some experience. But the opportunity she got from Series Fest here, which Series Fest is also one of our wonderful supporters, and we support them, and we just love everything that they're doing. And I just can't talk even they're just incredible. Everybody over at Series Fest, I love them. Shout out. And Randy Kleiner, who is one of the creators of Series Fest, is on our advisory board, and she's just incredible. But anyway, so they brought out Rain. Rain won that mentorship, and then I said, "Oh my gosh, Rain, I think you're amazing." And I will admit, when I met her, I felt for the first time since 2016 when we started, she was the first woman in film who, when I met her and it was at a networking event, she said to me, "What are you working on and how can I help?" That was the first thing out of her mouth. And I had just met her and I was like, I'm working on a screenplay. And and she's like, "Oh, well, let me give you, so you're going to have 10 pages by the next time I talk." And I was like, wait, what? And she's like, "You're going to have 10 pages and then give me a goal and then you follow up with me and I'll have my goal." I was like, "Well, what are you working on?" And it was like, for the first time, it was literally like this person coming out, and instead of just telling me who she's worked with and name dropping, and she's just like, "Who are you? What do you do? And how can I help you? How can I help you do it?" And I was like, "Rain, I am in love with you, and you have to come out and talk to our industry fair." And she did, and she came out here and she talked to all of our members and everything. It was so inspirational and so great. And she has moved on from shadowing with Shonda Rhimes to being a director for Chicago PD, and now producing some of her own features, and got another mentorship with another organization, and is moving and breaking grounds and breaking feelings and doing some incredible things. And that is someone who now I can say, I know that person because of WIFMCO. And if I needed to reach out to her and needed advice or needed anything or needed a connection, I have that now because of WIFMCO. And if you even just had one of those kind of connections that you get from this organization, then we've done our job, right?
Yeah. Totally.
And so not only did I get her as a connection, but she came and taught a seminar and gave everyone. And I was like, what? I mean, that is true. Like,
Really
pay
cool.
it forward, be there to be a mentor, and really bring people up through. And almost all of those people are new, and they have never worked on set, or they've never finished a screen. And now they will because they have some support.
No, that's awesome. Well, as we close out here, I did want to ask, coming from your perspective, why is it important that more of these voices are heard, especially nowadays? Some of the madness that's going on.
Well, it kind of goes back to the beginning, right? Is that I think the content has largely been produced and managed by men for the most part. I mean, things are changing. That's the thing is, I think things are changing. I really do. I'm so proud of some of the new work and content that we're seeing in prestigious TV, like all the streaming stuff.
Sure.
is incredible. You know, there's some TV episodics that are just, I mean, they're so fun to watch, and they're not necessarily around male-driven content, I guess you could say. Like they
Sure.
are really breaking grounds and bringing women to the forefront. I mean, I just love like what was the one that Kate Winslet was in, like the mayor of, and she was like the detective.
I remember seeing like
something
trailers
like,
and clips of it, but
the content like that is just like, that was dynamite. And it's just, I feel that the reason we're seeing such incredible TV right now, and the reason we're seeing incredible short films and festivals popping up around shorts, and the reason that we're seeing even some more recognition for like indie films and some of the awards, and we are still needing some representation in some award categories, I will admit. Like it's like every time we take 2 steps forward, I feel like there's like 3 steps back, you know, and we want to see those women being recognized at the award level. But I think the reason that we're seeing some pretty incredible content coming out right now is because there is someone, and maybe there is someone out there who wants to hear the stories that we're all writing.
Yeah.
And I think we as WIFMCO have proven through all of the skill building workshops that we offer, and like just even conversations that I'm having with people, like, what are you working on? I'll go up to a woman at a networking event and be like, what are you working on? And it'll be like some incredible like STEM science sci-fi thing that's like something about chemical warfare and all this stuff. And I'm like, that's whoa. Like that's incredible. And like, not only that, but that person has done so much research and work on it. It's like they're their own expert in the topic. And I'm like, please make that. Like, that sounds so fascinating. And like, I think a lot of the voices of WIFMCO members are starting to like come up and say like, well, I think in certain aspects, like, especially since the pandemic, people have been given more freedom to like break down boundaries when it comes to kind of fun. I mean, I think we're looking at more risky television. I mean, we're starting to see a lot more cringe comedy.
Right.
And I mean, look at The Bear. It's like, that's a comedy, and you're like, wait, but it's like cringe comedy, right? Or I mean, and people are saying, I just want to have this story be told, and somewhere out there, there's someone saying, yep, me too, and I'll give you a chance. So they're like taking a chance on things that are not like completely structured exactly as.
Sure. Yeah, I feel like we're in a bit of a renaissance.
Yes, it's so great.
Film, like for the past 10 years, it's like there's, and it's like, I don't know. When I was like in high school, the movies coming out were so excellent, and then there was this period of not good stuff or something, and I feel like we're starting to pick back up with like good films and that sort of.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's not just WIFMCO. We're not the only ones driving the importance of these stories told, but it's like a bunch of work that are really driving like, hey, this independent filmmaker has something that's different. And we want to see that now. And I think audiences are craving that now. I mean, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And again, it's more interesting.
Yeah.
When it's something that is, isn't something that we've seen a million times before, and is the archetype for,
I know,
whatever success, I guess.
Well, can I ask you a question? Do I get a chance to ask you like I want to?
Yeah. What's up?
Okay, so what are you working on, and how can I help you?
Oh, I'm actually working on a short film about the first team on Mars, and it's a female lead character, and it's all going to be in Unreal Engine, and I'm using like metahumans and stuff. So, and it's all pretty experimental. Yeah, it's kind of an insane endeavor, but I'm doing it, and I'm in the middle right now. I shot a scene from this, and I'm in the middle of, I have everything set up in Unreal Engine, and you use this app that like is for like facial performance capture and stuff.
Oh, cool.
To get it onto the head of the metahuman.
So it's kind of like AI.
Yes,
AI. It's all AI.
It does use AI.
Yeah, okay.
But it's like, I don't know, like it's an app on your phone, and it somehow uses the LiDAR in your phone to like track their facial movements.
Oh, cool.
And then I think it uses AI for like the audio to get the lips right. and
to
whatnot
sync. Yeah.
to sync and stuff. And yeah, so it's this whole short film that it's basically, it's like a drum roll to the first team on Mars, like finding microbial life. But then the main character essentially falls through a crack and goes into this like whole cavern space of aliens.
Oh, wow.
That
and
are
does
like,
she like completely like kind of kick ass the whole time?
well, I mean, yes.
Yeah.
So there's a moment where she fights like a
Okay.
tall, and it's like a classic kind of gray alien that we've all seen before or whatever. Just because I was thinking Mars, like, oh, and that's kind of, I guess it's a little cliche, but I like that.
Yeah.
So I thought it'd be cool, and then it turns into, she basically like, I don't want to give too much away, but it has a whole fight scene with this alien, kills the alien,
That's
and then
cool.
more come, and it's like a chase back to their base. And there's like a whole thing that happens there before she, leaves the planet and
That's
is
cool.
warned, like, this is our planet. Don't ever go back here, or we'll come to your
We'll come
planet.
find you. And then the sequel is, uh-oh. Yeah?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
So
but yeah.
how could you envision like an organization like WIFMCO helping you on that?
I don't know. I'm kind of in the process of figuring it out. As far as like, I guess getting access to like suits and stuff, because like I used a kind of a weird pipeline to do the body capture, and then the facial capture is, believe it or not, super straightforward as far as the app that it's called MetaHuman Animator and whatnot. But yeah, I think just ultimately, like once I'm ready to do the shoot, I kind of want to just focus on this scene and have that knocked out, and then have this really, it's like a great suspense scene where she's in this cavern, like on Mars, and like, hears stuff, and it's like a whole suspense sequence in the dark, essentially. Once I have that, I kind of want to use that to start reaching out to people and be like, hey, look at this scene.
Like,
I can do this. Like the pipeline for the motion capture and the performance capture is there, and I would certainly need people to help me with the shoot. So yeah, I can keep you posted on that.
Yeah, well, definitely let me know, because like, and this is the thing, is we always put ourselves out there. Like, let me know very articulately exactly like what you need, because okay, we have national networking this Thursday. All of our members can come to it. It's on Zoom, right? All of our paid members can come, and they just log in, and then they just kind of network with with other national members, right? So you've got that burning question, like, where do I get these suits?
Sure.
Someone on there might already know how to do it, right? Or where to get it, or they might know of somebody else who would be able to help you. And so like hopefully we could orchestrate that type of connection, right? Like, so if I'm hosting a call, I'll be like, oh, hey everybody, this is Nick, and he's got a burning question for these suits. Does anybody know where you can get them? And somebody might be like, I know, and then they'll connect, right? Sure. Why we
Yeah, there is a video game studio that's actually 10 minutes away from me that I would love to film at, called Deck 9. But I kind of want to...
Deck 9, be a sponsor of WIFMCO, and we'll send you everybody.
But I really want to have this scene, like, so that I can show that to people and be like, hey, like, this is possible, and whatnot. And then it's a 15-minute short film, and this scene's probably like a minute or
cool.
But yeah. Well, hey, thank you so much for coming on. Actually, before we covered this already, but just to hit it one more time for the listeners, how can people follow you guys, stay up to date on stuff that you're doing, that sort of thing?
Yeah, so all of our social handles are at WIFMCO. So find us on Instagram and Facebook. Yep. At WIFMCO or www.wifmco.org. Yeah, find us there. Go to the content calendar. Come to our we're going to have a bunch of events between now and the end of the year. Come to an event and just meet us. Be like, oh, awesome. I heard you on that Set Talk podcast, and you said this one thing and I didn't like it. And then so hopefully everybody learned a little bit something today
totally.
about
this was
women
thank
in
you.
film, and we'll come out and support us, and we can support you, and keep this going, like we just want to keep growing. Become a member. Help us.
No, totally. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed this conversation. I feel like we covered a lot of good stuff, and I think it's valuable for the community around here. So thank you so much for doing this.
Awesome.
I really appreciate it. And I'm going to the event tonight.
Yay!
So
I'll see you in an hour.
But cool. Well, this is Set Talks, the podcast that helps you navigate and connect with the Denver film scene. Thanks for tuning in.
Here we go.